Hello and welcome to the Spark Accounting Solutions Show. I'm Jenny Q, your host, and I'm here with Julie Babcock-Hyde. Julie is a profit first professional, and she is also the CEO and founder of Spark Accounting Solutions, CPA, CFM, so many designations that you've earned over the years, Julie. And today we're going to be talking about ways to boost profitability for home cleaning services. And this is really something interesting because even though the industries are different, there are a lot of profitability tips that apply to all industries, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, there's only a few ways to make more money. You
Okay,
either
fair
have to
enough.
generate more revenue or you have to reduce your expenses, right?
Okay.
I mean, like the formula for profitability is not a secret. And so trying to figure out ways to do those two things is what gets you there. And what's really interesting to me about the cleaning industry, cleaning is lumped in with janitorial and other things. One of the things we like to do with our clients is kind of look at industry averages and see, are you at least at industry average? And then how do we get better than that?
Oh, okay.
So for cleaning companies that are generating $1 million and less a year,
Mhm.
their average net income margin is 11%. So that means
Mm,
for every $100 of revenue they generate, they get to keep 11. And then they
that's a
probably,
surprising number. It's much lower than I would have
yeah.
expected.
Well, and then they probably still have to pay taxes on that as well. Now, the bigger cleaning companies that are in the $1 million to $5 million range, that that net income margin is 6%. And so this is kind of an important topic for those cleaning companies, for like, we need to make sure that there's some really good strategies around how you make sure you're profitable. And
Before
so,
we,
yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so I'm excited to talk about some of those strategies because it really, I mean, there's no magic. There's only 4 or 5 ways that you can like change your profitability, and it has to do with how much revenue you generate and how much expenses you have. And
Okay, that makes so much sense. And before we dive into that, could you just give a little bit of context of what a profit first professional is? And the book, it's based on the book by Mike. I can't say his last name.
Mike Halowitz.
Yes, thank you. And he wrote Profit First. Now, clearly, he didn't. In the title, he didn't get into specific industries. How does that even apply to all industries?
So Profit First is really a cash management system
Okay.
that helps small business owners ensure, actually all business owners ensure that they are able to be profitable.
Okay.
Um, the one thing that we know about most business owners is that no matter how many sets of financials we give them, no matter what we tell them is on their balance sheet or their income statement or anything else, a lot of business owners are looking at their bank account balance to make decisions.
Yes.
And it's very true. And so, what the purpose of Profit First is to start using that to your advantage instead of to your disadvantage. When you have one bank account and you look at it, it's very hard to say, oh, I've got taxes to pay, payroll's coming up, I've got sales tax that I need to remit, I've got taxes that I need to save for at the end of the year. It's really
Right.
hard to think through all of those things. So with the Profit First method, two things come into play. Number one is the first thing that you do when you make money is you set aside money for profit. If you set it aside, you're likely not going to spend it.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose.
Okay.
We as humans have a tendency for Parkinson's law to kick in.
Hmm.
Parkinson's law basically says however much of a resource you have, you use it all up.
Fascinating.
So let me give you an example. You're a businesswoman. Somebody wants a proposal from you in 2 weeks. How long does it take you to get that proposal done typically?
Less than an hour.
How long does it take you to actually do it and get it delivered? About 2 weeks, right?
If I
Is
have
that
2 weeks, 2 weeks.
is that too
I'll be
big?
honest though, that particular example I'm pretty good on, but I mean, we could apply
Yeah,
that
right.
example to like all the tasks, right? So
Well,
like I'm speaking at a virtual summit in 2 weeks, and I know exactly what the expectation is for my presentation. Have I started on it? No. Why? Because it's in 2 weeks.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we tend to use up all of our resources. My other favorite example is if you send your teenager to the mall with $200, how much do they come back with?
Zero.
Zero. They come back with zero. So I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's money or time or whatever, we tend to use things all up. But when we see less available to us, we automatically kind of pull back and we get creative. Remember when you started your business up and you
Yes.
didn't have a ton of revenue and you're like, how am I going to market? How am I going to get clients? How am I going to do this? You had all kinds of creative ways that you were forced into doing.
Definitely.
And so by creating artificial scarcity, if you will,
Ooh, there you go. Okay.
that's what I like to call it. You like this artificial scarcity because you've set aside your profit, you've set aside your taxes, you've hidden these things from yourself. And so that helped you um, plan for profit because you've
Right.
already set it aside. You're automatically got some bumpers on your bowling lane, so you're not throwing a gutter ball. You've got you got a safety net, and you've got a guideline of hey, I can't spend more than this.
Okay, that's really good. I really appreciate you taking the time to share how, one philosophy applies to all industries. And I'm just going to share this right now. We have the 5 core chapters of Profit First. It's down at the bottom of the screen. I'll also add it to the comments and I'll leave it there. I'll bring it up throughout the show, Julie, while you're talking about specific things that home cleaning businesses can do to boost profitability. And so, but yeah, really, really good information. So, okay, Julie, you ready for number one?
I am ready for
Okay.
number one. So when you have cleaning crews, they have to go from place to place to clean. And so one of the things that you have to remember is that drive time and the space in between things is not going to be generating revenue for you. So you really want to look at ways that you can maximize their revenue generation time. So you're going to be looking at drive times, you're going to be looking at crew sizes, you're going to be looking at like the mapping. Are you sending somebody to this and then their next job is 2 hours away or an hour away? That is not going to be as profitable for you as if you can get them like working in the same geographical area. So, kind of really looking at that travel time and minimizing travel time, maximizing revenue production time is going to be important.
Awesome. Very good. And, it seems like common sense, but it's also one of those things that if you don't consciously devote time to it, it probably will keep getting put off.
Well, yeah, and if you have a whole bunch of clients and you get a new one, like to stop and figure out, where they fit the best. How do we need to shuffle everybody around to get this done? And some of the software that people use actually has like routing tools within it to help them pick like the optimal routes to get from job to job.
Mm-hmm.
These ones are all together. Sometimes it's really helpful to be able to have those tools, look at the map and be like, oh, these three are all close together. We should do all of those on the same day and hope that all of those clients actually want their house cleaned on that same day.
On that same.
I mean, there's a balancing act with all of
Sure.
this,
Sure.
but looking at that and trying to maximize revenue generation time is important.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's jump on to number two, which is efficiencies in delivery. How is this different than what we just talked about?
What we talked about right now was just getting to the job
Okay.
and generating revenue. This one is really about once you're there. You want to make sure that your team knows what they're supposed to do, that you have the best systems in place to get it done, and what's going to happen, how often it's going to happen. That's clear with your clients, and you've got the right products to use for the job. You want to make sure you've got all of that so that the job can get done as quickly as possible. Most cleaning companies don't necessarily charge by the hour; they charge by the job. They have kind of a rough idea of what their hourly rate should be, but it comes down to a flat rate usually most weeks. So if you're able to get the job done quickly and to the satisfaction of the customer, you can get on to the next job faster. But one of the things that is important also with these, having the right products and having the right systems and making sure everybody knows what needs to be done is avoiding rework.
Mm-hmm.
People get upset if they're like, hey, you were supposed to do this and there's still dust here, or those things. And so having that checklist, having that system for your cleaners, for your lead on the job to go through and double check everything is important, because you're doing two things. One, making sure the right things are getting done at the right
Okay.
time, and making sure that it's been done correctly so that nobody has to go back out there for an unhappy customer. Having to do a job twice is not very profitable. And we've all
Because you only get paid once. They don't pay you twice for doing it twice.
exactly. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think we've all had to redo something because we made a mistake at some point in our lives. And the more that we can do to avoid rework, the better.
Okay. Also, once again, makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Let's just go right on to number 3. Look for opportunities to upsell add-on services.
So a lot of cleaning companies have like a set, here's the things that we do for you.
Sure.
And then they will have, okay, we got the spring clean add-on. We got the oven clean add-on. We can clean out your fridge. We can do this. We can do that as add-ons. And so making sure, number one, that you're identifying when your customers might need that and offering that to them, but also communicating what those add-ons are. If your customers don't know you do that stuff, they're not going to ask you to do it.
Well, it just came to mind. It would be like during the holidays, right? Because we all need extra support. Hopefully this year we're going to be able to have family in town, but we need pre-holiday support and post-holiday support.
Yes. Yes. And really identifying that, letting people know what your availability is.
Mm-hmm.
And cleaning companies are always so busy that time of year because of that very reason that you're talking about. And so communicating that early so that you can get people on the schedule. And because a lot of people will wait until like, oh crap, everybody's showing up next week. And when they call, then you're full and you can't help them. But if you would have offered it a few weeks earlier, they may have signed up when you still were scheduling and had time to service them.
Well, and let's just go right back, if we can connect some dots here, to analyze travel time and crew sizes. If you typically do $300 worth of service one time you're out there, and then you add on $200, you just saved the resources here, right? To increase revenue. Ooh, okay. This is good. Yes. All right.
Yep. Very good.
Thank you. Do I get a gold star?
You do get a gold star.
Can I get those dots? Excellent. Okay. Now we're going to go on to number 4. And this is always fascinating to me when service providers of any type compete on price. When I was back in my former life, a licensed insurance agent, this was one of the things we talked about. If you compete on price, if you shop based on price, you're going to pay at some point because you're buying for claims service. You're not buying for premium, right? So it's so whenever I hear compete on price, I think of that, and I'm like, yeah, okay. However, you have to get people in the door to show how good you are as a cleaning company. So yeah, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this.
There's a lot of services out there, and it's true in my industry too. Like if somebody just wants to get their tax return completed,
right?
They have a ton of choices. It's, they can do it themselves. They can get online with the CPA. They can go see one. They can go see an EA. There's tons of choices now to get your tax return done. And that is something that is price sensitive. Tax prep is very price sensitive. It's like a commodity. You can get it lots of different places. Where people are able to start charging extra money is when they're doing tax planning and advising the client, not, hey, you owe money, go pay it, but taking it to the next level. And so when you are doing something that's more like a commodity, that what this person is delivering is just about the same as what this person is delivering,
right?
They're going to choose on price. And if they're going to choose on price, you're going to have low margins. And to meet your profit goals, you're going to have a lot of customers to make up for that. And so you really have to think through strategies of whether you want to be the low cost provider and you really want to build a really big business with lots of volume, or our next point is kind of talking about how do you not be competing on low price. And so that's something I always encourage people to think about is, is what you're selling a commodity? And if it's a commodity and you're competing on price, how can you differentiate yourself a little bit? But our next thing is really talking about how do you command premium prices?
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like there's a lot of people that are like, you know what, I'm lucky to get $50. I'm lucky to get $60 an hour to clean. I'm lucky to get $40 an hour to clean, depending on, the market level of employees, that kind of stuff, But the truth of the matter is there is always somebody that's willing to pay more for something.
That is so true.
There
Yeah.
is. And so, when you start looking at things that can differentiate you from somebody else, well, I can hire somebody off of care.com for $22 an hour. Why would I pay you $50 an hour? Well, we are bonded, we're insured. We've done background checks on all of our employees. We start thinking about the things that are differentiating you. And then that's kind of the first step to get up to, okay, here's some things that differentiate me. And then you can start thinking about what are things that our clients might need that people are not providing for them. And am I willing
Mm.
to provide these additional services? Like one of the complaints I hear from people like about the cleaning industry is, well, they won't hand wash my dirty dishes that are in the sink. And I mean, these little things, it's just, are you willing to do that? And are you willing to get paid extra to do that? And what are the other things that your clients, you're already at their house, what are other things you can do while you're there to increase your value to the client? Can they schedule deliveries while you're there cleaning? And you take their deliveries and put them away.
Mm.
Do you want to accept that risk? That's something else you have to say. Do you want to add on organization? Hey, once a quarter, we're going to go through your pantry and we're going to reorganize your entire pantry.
Dude, I would hire someone right now to come do that.
Well, and that's just there are people that will absolutely pay for these add-ons, but you have to figure out what are those things, and do you want to provide them, and how do you provide them in a way that you're going to be able to command premium prices for? And so really looking at, what are those things?
Yeah,
Because there are always people that are willing to pay more. And if you can command a premium price, you can have less customers. There
I love it.
yeah, there is no one magic way for everybody to design their business. There is a reason that Walmart exists, and there is a reason that Whole Foods exists. They have two different models.
Right.
They have two different pricing structures. And neither one of them, like, I'm not going to say that either one of them is right or wrong. They have a model that works for their business. And you have to figure that out for your own business of, are we low price, high volume, or are we high price, lower volume? Um,
And then of course I'm going to jump in with the marketing thing, right? When you determine that, that will drive the most efficient marketing efforts.
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
because your messaging is different. Your messaging, if
Mhm.
you are competing on price, is, hey, we're low price.
Mhm.
Get your stuff done, we'll save you money.
Right.
Whereas if you're high price and you're trying to differentiate yourself and you're trying to solve those different pain points than the standard cleaning company does, you have to make sure you're communicating that difference so that people are no longer saying, but that cleaning company can do it for this price. It's like, no, I'm not just your cleaner. I'm,
Right.
whatever else you're doing on top
Right.
of that.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm solving these other problems for you, and that's worth something to you. Hey, while I'm there, I'll throw dinner in the crock pot, and it'll be ready for you when you get, there's all kinds of
Right.
things that you could do, and just figuring out what those are, what you're willing to do, and what you can command a premium price for is the trick.
I love it. I love it. I like, I don't own a home cleaning business, and my mind's already going with, ooh, that could be fun, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe brainstorm with your team.
yeah.
What else can we
Or,
do? Yeah,
and also asking your customers.
sure.
I was on the Intuit Accountants Council, and I was always amazed with that 2 years of all of the questions and feedback that they got from us, their customers, as they were looking at, and about our customers as well, as they
Sure.
were looking at making changes to products and what people needed and how are people really using this and why is this not working, and ask your team, ask your customers, what else do they need?
Yeah, perfect. I love it. Well, we have a bonus tip, and we have a solution for the bonus tip as well. So implement profit first. And at the beginning of the show, we did talk a little bit about what profit first actually means. You are offering 5 core chapters of Profit First, totally free. So here's the link. But why would implementing profit first be beneficial for home cleaning businesses?
The truth is that unless you have a plan to prioritize profit,
Hmm.
you're probably it's not going to happen. If you have a system where you are automatically setting aside a percentage of your revenue to save it aside for profit, and you know that you can't touch it, you can build your business on what's left over and figure out how to do that. But if you're not doing that and you're waiting till the end of the quarter or till the end of the year or the end of the month to see what your financial statement says your profit was, you're not being proactive on this. And so Profit First gives you the ability to proactively decide how much your profit is going to be, set it aside, and help you re-engineer your business to live off of what you have left. And it really takes care of, it works with the way your brain is working anyway.
Mm,
You are looking at your bank balance to make decisions. You are using up all the resources that you see available to you.
right.
And so if you are setting that money aside so you're not seeing it, you're not taking that into account in decisions. So there's a lot of really great tips and tricks in Profit First, in addition to just this magic of opening an extra bank account. It sounds stupid, but really just opening those bank accounts and allocating funds automatically changes your behavior because you suddenly made profit a priority.
Fascinating. That's so good. And that's why everyone goes into business, right?
Oh,
Theoretically, to make money.
most people, yes. The goal is to make money and provide for their family and serve their customers. And the best way we can do that is to have a sustainable business that's going to be around next week because we have money to pay the bills.
Perfect. Makes sense. Thank you so much. If anybody has a specific question for their situation, what's the best way to reach out to you?
On our Facebook page, we've got a contact us button. Feel free to hit that, or on our website, we also have a scheduling link.
Oh, easy, easy peasy. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Julie.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day. If you have any questions, just reach out, contact us on Facebook, or go to the website and fill out the form. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.